Yo, what up, everybody? Welcome back once again to the live stream. I was gonna do this weekend, but then forgot I was gonna be busy, so I decided to go ahead and do this today. I decided to switch things up since we've been doing a lot of DC talk and talk about Marvel because we got Ant Man Quantumania about to drop, I believe, in a week or two, and no lie, I'm not super excited to see Ant Man. I know there's probably gonna be a lot of spoilers and stuff coming out. I'll eventually catch it when I get the free time to catch it, but it's not a movie I'm super excited for. But I do want to talk about Phase 5, going into the next phase, just because it's what's coming, or should I say, what's here, and I just think it'd be just a cool thing to talk about. So, Ant Man Quantumania is coming up, and I've seen one or two trailers for it so far, but I've been avoiding the other trailers because even though it's not a movie I'm excited to see, I just kind of want to I just kind of want to like see it and be surprised at some of the stuff that happens, and just not know what's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to just watch it and just not know what's coming. If that makes sense, you know what I mean? Because a lot of times trailers drop, and even though, like I said before, a lot of stuff that happens in trailers doesn't always happen in the movies. I just want to go into this movie without knowing what's gonna happen, even though I'm not like super excited for it. You know what I'm saying? Even though I'm not super excited for it. But I want to go with a Marvel Phase 5 lineup and see what else we got coming out this year. Let me see. Marvel Phase 5 lineup. Give me a second while I pull this up. And if there's anything that anybody out there is excited to see coming out this year when it comes to Marvel, so let me see. Phase 5. So first you got Ant Man Quantumania. I know that's where Kang is going to be coming into the picture. Obviously, we've seen him in the trailers. Um, what's the word about this? Like I said, on the scale from 1 to 10, I'm definitely give this a 7 as far as how excited I am to watch this. It's up there, but it's not like super high. Like it's a 9, like it's a can't miss movie. You know, I could definitely probably wait until one of those Tuesday options roll around where you go to movies for $5. Speaking of $5, man, what in the world is going on with AMC theaters? Let me take a pause on the Marvel stuff and talk about this AMC thing. I did a short video on this earlier where I talked about them raising the price on their movie tickets. So let me jump to that real quick because I think this is really, 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 really crazy. And to me, it just makes no sense. So you even got like celebrities coming out and you know trying to make sense out of this. So Elijah Wood slams AMC theater ticket price change, says it will penalize people for lower income. The movie theater is and always has been a sacred democratic space for all, the actor said. So let me read this article. Elijah Wood has made it clear that he's not a fan of AMC Theater's proposed plans to change ticket pricing. The Lord of the Rings actor, who is slated to appear the upcoming season of Showtime's Yellow Jackets, criticized the theater's change news sightline initiative, which assigns ticket prices based on seats' specific location. Under this new initiative, theatergoers in the same theater will all pay different prices for their seats rather than the standard ticket rates, which makes no sense to me because we all sitting in the same theater watching the same movie. It's not like somebody sitting in higher price seats is going to get a different version of the film. It's the same film we all sitting here watching. Going on, the movie theater is and always has been a sacred democratic space for all, Wood wrote. This new initiative by AMC Theaters would essentially penalize people for lower income and reward for higher income, which I think this is really, really stupid. Announced Monday, AMC's Sightline program will start Friday at select theaters in New York, Chicago, and Kansas City, and slowly expand to all AMC locations across the country by the end of the year. Per Variety, the initiative features three seat pricing options. Standard Sightline, which includes the most common seats in the theater that are available for the traditional cost of a ticket. Value Sightline, which includes seats in the front row and some wheelchair accessible spots that are available for a lower price than standard Sightline seats, and preferred sideline, which includes seats in the middle of the theater that are available for a higher price. AMC noted that theaters using Sightline must provide a detailed seat map that outlines each seating option and its corresponding ticket prices. I just think this is so stupid because I just think this is so stupid because why should we have to pay more to sit and watch the same movie? It makes no sense. Oh, and by the way, I'll be dramatic, man. I did watch a video earlier on this subject, man. Great video, by the way. But it makes no sense to me whatsoever, man. And then going on, it says, of course, MC Stub A-list members who already have paid a monthly fee have an advantage. They can reserve seats in the preferred sightline section at no additional cost in the value sightline section for a discount. This just makes no sense to me whatsoever that they're going to charge this high price because we all sitting there watching the same movie. I know this is supposed to be about Marvel, but I'm kind of changing the topic a little bit here. It makes no sense. Like I do agree with I'll be dramatic. He said in it earlier, the reason they might be raising the prices is because they lost some money during the pandemic. So this is the way to them recoup that money that they lost. And yes, I agree. This is a huge L that they're about to take. And I usually spend more time going to Regal theaters. Luckily, there's no Regal theaters in my area that are going to be closing, but I know it's got a lot of Regals that will be closing. Still sad. But this is just such a dumb idea to raise prices for what? I mean, look, I get it. You probably lost some money, but it already costs enough money to go to the movies as is. The drinks are expensive. The popcorn is expensive. The snacks is expensive. On top of that, y'all sell food at y'all theater. I know that's expensive for a little burger that's probably a fist size or a handful of fries. It's like now y'all charging extra money just to get people to sit in the middle row. Like that's unheard of, unnecessary. Is stupid. It doesn't need to happen. It doesn't need to happen. And I just feel like AMC, y'all really messing it up for a lot of people that like going to the movies. Y'all should be trying to find ways to get people to go back to the theater. Obviously, the whole movies coming out in theaters and streaming didn't work because theaters weren't getting no money. The actors and actresses were upset because they weren't getting paid as much money because their movies were being put on streaming and in the movie theaters the same day. A lot of people were staying home instead of going to the theater. So this doesn't make any sense why y'all trying to pretty much force people to stay home instead of watch the movie in the theater. I prefer to go to the theater, but AMC, I definitely ain't finna be paying y'all expensive prices. I don't like sitting in the neck breaker seats. That's what I call the seats at way up front because I like sitting up high where we can actually see the whole movie. I ain't finna be paying extra to sit in the middle seats, man, to watch the same movie. It's ridiculous. It's like playing first class for a flight. We all going to the same place. We all getting there at the same time. Yeah, man. Theater's expensive as is, man. I went to AMC recently, but I had like a gift card, so it cut off some of the pricing for it. But again, it just makes no sense, man. Why they're gonna charge this expensive price? Like you said, the only reason I can think of them doing this is because they're trying to recoup money they lost during the pandemic. I know I read that when Regal Theaters was shutting down all these theaters, they they were losing money since before the pandemic, and then the pandemic kind of just sped the process up. So I think that might be a reason AMC is doing this. And they were in bankruptcy recently. I think the shareholders or somebody helped them get out of it, but yeah, they were in trouble too. But if this is the best way they can think of to get people to come back to the theater or whatever they're trying to do, I definitely will go spend my money elsewhere because this ain't worth it. But getting back to what this is about, which is Marvel Phase 5. After Ant-Man Quantumania, you're looking ahead to May, which is the last Guardians film, which I know Dave Bautista has come out and said that he is excited that he is going to be done with this, and a lot of people have been speculating on whether his character is going to die. I don't expect all the Guardians to make it. I'm going to just be honest. I do expect the Guardians of the Galaxy to continue on in some form, but it's just going to be a different team. It's happening in the comic books. It's going to happen in the movies. So I do expect the Guardians to continue on just in a different form. I'm honestly looking really forward to this movie out of all the lists that I'm looking at so far because I really want to see how they end it. I can't imagine this ending any worse than how we saw Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I still gotta watch the special. But I love the group so far. They've been fun to watch. Looking ahead after this, you're looking at the Marvels. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm not super excited for this. The Marvels comes out in June. I'm trying to see this website's acting funny. You think this comes out in June 23rd? Let me double check it. Double checking. No, this comes out in July. Excuse me. This comes out July 28th. The Marvels are July 28th. I'm not really super excited to see this. I am kind of curious though because I want to see how Miss Marvel acts with Captain Marvel, knowing she's a big fan, and I hope they explain at the end. Well, at some point in the movie, I'm sure they will. How did they end up switching spots? You know what I'm saying? Like how did that happen? What happened there? I'm curious about that. I'm curious about that. Yeah, James Gunn is going to be the head over at DC. He's officially head of DC now. I got to talk about that too. So yeah, he's that's what's going on with him. He's the head of DC now, so he's done with Marvel. And then after that, Captain America: New World Order. This one comes out in 2024. So yeah, there's only like three movies I think coming out this year for Marvel, and then you got the TV shows, which I'm not gonna get into. So then you got Captain America: New World Order. I'm not gonna lie, this will be probably one of my top movies I'm looking forward to next year. Let me see. I'll be dramatic. Says didn't like Captain Marvel one. Hope better than for. I actually enjoyed it. I thought it was okay for what it was. It wasn't nothing extra. It was alright. It was cool. It was cool. I was curious about how they was gonna do the movie, being it took place in the '90s, long before the Avengers came into the picture. But I thought it was a cool movie. I thought it was a cool movie. And then moving on to Thunderbolts. I have no idea what Thunderbolts are. I know well who they are. I just know the Thunderbolts are basically Marvel's version of the Suicide Squad. That's all I know. That's all I know about the Thunderbolts. But I know a lot of people aren't happy about the lineup. This movie comes out July 26, 2024. Um, what else we got coming out? What else we got coming out for Phase 5? May, June, July. So then fast forward. So Blade is part of. So I guess that's the end of Phase 5. So then you get into Phase 6. So then you got Blade that was supposed to come out, I think, this year. This is coming out in September of 2024, September 6th. I'm curious about how they're gonna do this one. I've always been a Wesley Snipes fan when it comes to Blade. I did watch a few of the TV shows that came out back in the '90s. I forgot who starred in it, but I did watch some of it. But I'm hoping that this movie does good. I just don't know how Mahershala Ali is gonna be doing fighting movies because I've only seen him in what was it? I've only seen him in the Marvel TV shows on Netflix. Luke Cage, and so he wasn't really doing any fighting. He was sending other people out to do the fighting for him. So I wonder how he's going to do in this film. A lot of people say he could just be doing a lot of sword work without the actual fighting. Hopefully, he agrees with the new script that they're writing for this movie because obviously the last one he didn't like, and then the director pulled out the movie too. So hopefully, this next one is going to be a lot better. Okay, yeah, I saw some of that. I thought it was cool, but my issue with getting into TV shows is they always get ended before their time, or they always stick around too long, and they should have got ended a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? So I thought he did. I thought Sticky Fingers did a good job with what he had, but I'm definitely I'm a Wesley Snipes guy because that's what I grew up on. That first Blade movie was great. The second one was cool. The third one I didn't really care for so much. It's like when movies come out, the first film usually always like a little darker, a little grittier. Even if you want to go off the hook, let's talk about Big Mama Sauce. Big Mama Sauce. The first one was darker, it was grittier, it was more serious. And then as you got to the second and third one, they got more goofy. And then even though Blade was still Blade, the second and third one got a little less grittier, a little more soft and mushy, in my opinion. So it just wasn't what the first one was. Um, Looking towards that. Oh, okay, so Marvel Phase 6. Marvel Phase 6 got some treats. I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna look forward to Marvel Phase 6 more than I'm probably gonna look to Phase 5. But I am gonna try and keep an open mind to everything, TV shows included. You got Deadpool 3. So this the only issue I have with this movie is I'm not like a big Deadpool fan. I still didn't even watch the last Deadpool movie that came out. And then I know they're bringing back Wolverine. But my thing is, Hugh Jackman, I don't even know what Hugh Jackman's age is. He's not super young. And I know they're probably going to have to use a lot of CGI for the muscles. I just wish they probably did this years ago before he decided to stop being in the Marvel films. Okay, I think I did read something about that somewhere. I just wasn't a big fan of the story. But Hugh Jackman is 54 years old, so by the time this movie comes out, he's going to be, of course, 55. So my thing with the movie is I'm not super excited to see it. I may have to wait until I see the trailer before I pass judgment, but I'm hoping it's going to be good. I just want to have a I just want it to be a good movie, but I believe they said it's going to take place long before he ends up long before his last film, so it doesn't mess up the timeline. I was just hoping to bring back the X Men. They let Scott be the leader. Hugh Jackman was cool, but he was like the face of the franchise for like over 10, 12, 15 years, and Scott never really got the spot that he deserved. And the third X Men movie was the worst. It was one of the worst ones. Oh no, he's 54. You gotta Google it. He's 54. And so then after that, you're looking at Fantastic Four. Now, this movie, I know they've been working on development for a long time. This one comes out on February 14th. Oh, Valentine's Day, 2025. Whew, this one I might want to have to actually be there in theaters for, even if I have to be there late. Yeah, he's in his 50s. The reason is because, yeah, he was the spot. Yeah, he was the main attraction, the guy for that. He was the franchise player basically for the X Men. But looking at Fantastic Four, I'm curious about this one because look at um the first iteration of Fantastic Four back in the early 2000s. I liked the first film. I think they only did two movies. I didn't really care for the second movie at all. Then they came back and tried to do it again with the Michael B. Jordan movie. Yeah, what's going on, Basco? Then they tried to come back and do it again with the 2014 or 2013 movies. Whenever uh, Fantastic Four came out with Michael B. Jordan, I did not watch the movie at all. I heard it was garbage. I don't think the director liked it. I think it was too much middling from the studio. And the director even came out and said he had a better script, but we'll never see it, of course, because the movie that he had to come out with already came out. I think I started watching it one day, but I just lost interest because what happens with me is when movies don't go anywhere, it just when franchises don't go anywhere, it just doesn't make sense to continue to watch the movies. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's that one there. And then moving on to let me see what else comes after this. Fantastic Four. You got what was it? Avengers. I think the Kang Dynasty comes out or Avengers Secret Wars. The website keeps messing it. Best man. There's nothing even to this day that still tops those movies. I didn't know they had three movies. I thought it was just two. I think that third one that came out back in like 2014 was I know it was a reboot. So yeah, okay. So after Fantastic Four, then you moving into Avengers: The Kang Dynasty, May 2nd. I'm not really sure what this is going to be about, so I'm going to go ahead and skip this one. Then after that, you got Avengers: Secret Wars. So we got two movies coming out May 2nd. Oh no, okay. So I think they messed up the date because it says May 2nd, 2025. Oh no, then the other one comes out next year. I mean, in 2026, the Avengers: Secret Wars. So they actually switched the year. I need to go back and get back on X-Men from '97 because I know they got that coming back out, and then everything else is up in the air. So I'm trying to be optimistic. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not super excited about this current slate, but I'm more interested than what I was for Phase Four. I'm trying to see what the Phase Five TV shows are. I think what made, like I said, to me, the golden years of Marvel was the first three phases. '90s version F4 movie on YouTube is cheesy but good. I'd rather go back and watch anything from the '90s than what we got right now, especially when it comes to Marvel's cartoon movies, because they garbage. DC is still the king of putting out cartoon movies, but their live action needs to be up there with those two. There is one thing I did want to check out while I'm sitting there talking to y'all right now. So I was watching Robert Storm's video earlier today, and he was talking about James Gunn's comments on the past DCEU regime and how they were grilling and everything. And I'm trying to see what he had to say because it said he read some. I'm trying to see what he had to say because it was told he rubbed some people the wrong way with his comments. But let me see if I can find what he said. I thought it was funny, but I thought it was super true. But basically, in so many words, he was saying how a lot of the old executives were greenlit everything. They were giving away all the movies as if they were party favors. And now, and now, he's trying to set a direction. But Phase 4, I guess if I had to name the pros, it was the movies. Some of them. I'm trying to think what the Phase 4 movies were. I knew it was Spider Man. It was Multiverse of Madness with Doctor Strange. I think maybe we had what was that? What else was in Phase 4? Moon Knight. What else do we have in Phase 4? I'm trying to think off the top of my head right now. WandaVision, Captain America. So those things are good. Eternals, I don't care if we don't get a second one. Although I am kind of curious about the ending and where that leads. I just didn't care for the movie too much. But Phase 4, I felt like the movies are good, but that's the pros. The cons, I think it was just nothing seemed to fit. Nothing seemed to connect the dots to the next thing. You can skip. I forgot about Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi was cool. I felt like you can watch Phase 4. No, I feel like you can watch Phase 3, skip Phase 4, move on to Phase 5, and you won't miss a thing. I think what else was part of Phase 4? Was that Black Widow movie part of Phase 4? Because that movie was garbage. That movie should have came out right after, I believe, Civil War. I believe either before or after Civil War. I think it really, really, really should have came out after Civil War. Scarlett Johansson was white, like her star power was white hot. She should have got the first movie as a female in the MCU instead of giving it to the old girl who started in Captain Marvel. Okay, so yeah, Wakanda Forever was good. Thor 4 was garbage. If I had to honestly go back and watch between Thor 4 and what's the movie I just announced? I just lost my train of thought real quick. What was the movie I just announced between Thor 4 and Black Widow? I would rather go back and watch Black Widow. Thor 4 was garbage. It was trash. It was unwatchable. I literally sat through that movie and was like, dude, I got to. I felt myself just being pulled out of the movie. Like, I wanted to just pull my phone and just be on my phone because I thought the movie was so bad. It was like the movie just kept getting cheesier and cheesier and cheesier. And I was just like, why? How in the world did Kevin Feige agree with this and thought this movie was a good idea? I will not ever know. It made no sense. But another thing, kind of switching gears here, is that it's been a lot of DC topics going on with obviously this new regime of Peter Safran and James Gunn taking over, and obviously some feathers are ruffled. I just brought up how James Gunn made some comments about how the old regime was giving out movies left and right to different directors as if they were party favors, and a lot of these movies were not connecting; they were just being given out, and it left a lot of people unhappy because obviously some people from the old regime probably are still working there. And listen, James Gunn told it the truth, man. Y'all was giving out movies, IPs left and right. Obviously, I'm pretty sure he didn't want to have anything to do with the Batman, but because it was a successful film, same thing with the Joker, he decided to leave those two films alone. But I'm pretty sure they might get 3 movies a piece between Joker and the Batman, and then after that, they're done, which wouldn't surprise me. And then he'll be really focused on his version of Batman and what he really wants to do with the DC universe going forward. I know he has Batman the Babe and the Bold, but it's going to be weird having his Batman and having the Batman for the DC universe. I wouldn't be surprised if sometime down the line they might even decide to put a plug on Batman too, because it would just feel weird having two Batman, one for the DCU and then one that's separate. You know what I'm saying? One thing I'm hoping with Thor is that he. Look, I say this a lot. When it comes to movies I like, I don't want to see them Fast and the Furious franchise. I don't. I think he should have stopped at Thor 3, but obviously that was probably one of the best films in that franchise, in that series. So the other thing I want to talk, the thing I want to keep talking about when it comes to DC is a lot of people are still hollering about firing James Gunn. This dude's not going nowhere. Okay, he's the man working at DC. He's the head of DC Studios, the new DC Studios. He's not going anywhere. I know a lot of people are upset because they want Zack Snyder to come back, but obviously that's not going to happen. DC is going in a completely different direction, and I'm hoping that it works out. Yes, yes, a part of me still wants to see the old DC uh, EU, but I know we're never getting that back. I just think that where the old regime messed up at, they should have let Zack Snyder finish his project instead of meddling and interfering and setting it all off course, and then it just completely fell apart. Because there's a lot of articles popping up about James Gunn and what his vision is, and some questions about whether it's going to be good or not. But I wish I could find the exact article. But I was watching the video earlier, and it just made so much sense. But I do agree that the old DC regime, y'all giving away movies like it was a party, and none of this stuff connected. It was a bunch of movies nobody asked for. The main thing we wanted to see was the main continuation of the DC Justice League, and I don't understand how they messed it up. I'll say this forever. I don't know how they messed it up. Y'all had the blueprint laid out for y'all. Marvel gave y'all the blueprint. Each superhero gets one movie, then you do a big superhero team up. How did y'all mess this up? I'll never understand. I agree. Batman's always been a loner, but I would like to see him interact. Have a real good Justice League movie. The Zack Snyder movie was good to me, but I felt like it was a bunch of separate things that they had to kind of stitch together. And then you got Zack not coming back. Something I have accepted. At least got dude director cut for Justice. Yeah, I've accepted he's not coming back. Man, he's over there working on Rebel Moon with He's over there working on Rebel Moon in Netflix. But it's been other people posting about, oh man, his move his DC stuff to Netflix, which obviously is not going to happen because it would just be weird. Because then you have Netflix Superman stuff, and then you have this new Superman coming out in like what 2 years from now. And again, like I said, it wouldn't surprise me if DC says we're only gonna give y'all this one Batman film because they want to continue on with their own Batman in their own universe. It just wouldn't surprise me. Even though I know it's already out on the slate, that's just my one too. I know it's been a lot of people talking about who's gonna possibly play the new Superman. I don't do fan casting, so I don't know anybody off the top of my head who I'd like to see play a younger Clark Kent, or even a younger Bruce Wayne or Damian Wayne for that matter. Some people were ruffled because they actually picked a young Damian Wayne. You know what I'm saying? Which I thought was really interesting. Or not a young Damian Wayne, but they picked Damian Wayne in general. Out of all the other people that play um, Robin, I thought that was pretty. I thought that was pretty funny. A lot of people got ruffled because it's gonna be Damian Wayne, which I think is cool. I mean, his attitude is crap, but I think it'll be cool to see what Damian Wayne will do once we see him on screen in live action. Because we've seen everybody else, I think, except for the one girl Robin, which I don't absolutely count because you barely hear about her. Let me see. I wouldn't work with DC being on Netflix. Got issues because Sandman showing. Oh, okay. Is that still going on? I never watched it, but I thought that's like I said. When it comes to shows, I can barely get into them because they only last for so long before they get canceled, or they stick around too long and then it's their time to go. Looking at you, The Walking Dead, or The Flash. I think The Flash probably should got canceled a long time ago. I know it's finally on the end now that the Arrowverse is officially dead. And it's weird because like Black Lightning only got what, 3 seasons, 4 seasons before they canceled it. Supergirl only got 3, 4 seasons, no, 4 maybe 5 seasons before she was done. So it's weird to see a lot of these shows go before their time. But I don't know if maybe the viewership went down. I don't know if I know when you bring actors and actresses back, I believe you got to pay them more money, and then of course the cost for production and everything that goes into making the shows also go up. So it's a lot of money that has to get poured into it. I know that Zack Snyder said that the Superman and Lois TV show has maybe 1 or 2 seasons left, but I feel like if the viewership is still high, why cancel it? Which I understand is another weird situation where if you got Superman on the small screen, then you turn around and you got Superman on the big screen. It's a really confusing thing to have. You know, I get it. I really do. But it's like it happens. You know, there's a Superman for the small screen, there's a Superman for the big screen. It happens. It's just a situation. And I just think that it's okay because it's two different things. It's not like you got two Superman in movies, big movies. You got one for TV and one for um the theater. So it's a different situation than the Batman. If you got two different Batman running around in two different universes on the big screen. Yeah, I did read the CW did get a new owner, but I heard they've been doing real bad. They just cut a lot of their writers, I think, or something like that. I read it somewhere, but I can't remember exactly what the situation was. But it's just like if it's that bad, they just need to cut the network because it seems like they've been cutting a lot of stuff, and I don't even understand where they're going with this. It doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense to me because y'all cutting everything under the sun. Who in the world wants to keep watching your product if you don't have nothing on there to watch? You know what I mean? It just makes no sense. But I was looking over the list again as far as what we getting in the DC universe, and like I said, there's a few things on there I'm interested in. Everything else I'm kind of like, eh. Like Superman Legacy, I'm interested in. Batman Brave and the Bold. I think that's going to be those two movies are going to be the standard definition as to how you look at what DC is doing. Do I think they ever going to catch Marvel? No, because Marvel, even in their worst year, which was Phase 4, DC is just not going to catch up ever. Marvel was in a class by itself because of how they plan things out, and that's what James Gunn is trying to bring to DC. The plan, the what you call continuity. He's just trying to make sure everything fits. All of the ducks are in a row instead of having everything scattered and not making any sense. And I know this is supposed to be a Marvel stream, but it did switch to a DC stream pretty quickly because there's not a whole lot to talk about except for Quantum Mania, and there's been a lot of DC talk, especially with James Gunn being the figurehead now of DC. Um, and of course, on the movie side, you got Swamp Thing. I used to watch the cartoon back in the '90s. I have no idea what the authority is. Supergirl is one of the movies I think they should actually leave alone for a good while. I don't think really there's anybody excited or interested in seeing Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. Honestly, I don't. And then on the TV side, you got Waller, Lanterns, Creature Commandos, Booster Gold, Paradise Lost. No, I'm curious about Paradise Lost because I know it's supposed to be a prequel to Wonder Woman. And then you got Booster Gold, don't know anything about him. Creature Commandos, don't know anything about him. Lanterns, which is basically, I guess, it's going to be a buddy cop film, but probably in space with the Green Lanterns, John Stewart, and Hal Jordan. Yeah, I agree. This timeline just needs to flow. But I heard that he's going for something really up there. Like his goal is to have everything flow from TV shows and movies to video games. And then, of course, you got Waller. The only thing I'm interested on this is Lanterns, and that's really about it. That's the only show I'm interested on out of this whole thing. And Paradise Lost. That's it. So Lanterns, Paradise Lost, and then on the other side, Superman and Batman. That's it. Now I know this is only supposed to be a small taste of what this first phase is supposed to be about, and I know a lot of people have been coming out the woodwork saying, "Well, if he's keeping the door open for a lot of the DC EU actors to still come back and reprise the roles. Why didn't he leave the role for Superman? Obviously, he came out and said he wants a younger version of Superman. But I think it would just be weird if you got these other characters who have been around, who have played these characters already, unless somehow you can fit them into this universe without explaining where they came from or how they're already playing the characters. It just wouldn't make any sense to me. Dude, I grew up a Batman fan in the '90s, man. I had the tapes. I played those tapes out, and so I cannot play them anymore. Now, right now, I'll probably go back and watch them just for kicks, but I can't take them seriously because of the Batman nipples. The way that Gotham looks, it just looks all jumbled up. and the abs on the suit. Hey, I got a curious question to y'all watching, man. Who is y'all favorite Batman right now? In my opinion, I'm gonna have to say Michael Keaton is the best Batman. Then after that, I will have to put shoot, who comes right after him? Christian Bale. And then I really believe if we would have got excuse me, if Ben Affleck really would have got his own movies, if the DCEU was right, I think he hands down would have went down as the best Batman Bruce Wayne. A lot of people try to separate it. Like who's the best Bruce Wayne, who's the best Batman. I'll just keep them together. Michael Keaton, Christian Bale, and that's really it. I would love to say Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck wasn't around as much, and then everything kind of fell to the wayside. Bale, our easy kicking topic says Bale. Um, I like Bale. The thing is, man, Bale's movies were a gift and a curse because they were their own thing. You know, we haven't had a DCU yet, but it's like what he did, what happened with his movies are still being felt today in the DC universe because it was so much. They took away a lot of the goofy stuff and they made the DC movies more realistic. And because of that, it's like what happened with his films are still being felt today because it's like what was it Christopher Nolan did or because what Christopher Nolan did is still being felt in these movies. I believe that's the person who directed the Bale films. But what he did is still being felt in these current movies because there was so much realism, and to me they were so good. Now, some people may not like him as Batman, they may not like the suit, or they may not like the voice. I honestly I like the suit at first, but now that I've got a chance to see Ben Affleck's suit when he's Batman, I thought it looked way better. I thought it looked way better. I didn't know that. So what I thought the issue was he was just overwhelmed with being Batman and directing, especially since I think it was the Batman vs Superman Dawn of Justice movie didn't play out the way it was supposed to. I thought he maybe had issues with that. That's why he didn't stick around. But I'm trying to see. I'm trying to see. Okay, so yeah, Christopher Nolan did direct those Batman films. Those Batman films were awesome. I can still go back and watch those to this day. I'm just not a big fan of the suit as much as I am anymore. I think, hands down, Ben Affleck's suit is a lot better. Even though he's like bulkier and bigger, his suit just looks a lot better. Like it looks more like one piece instead of what Christian Bale's suit looks like. And if you're asking me what's the best live action Batmobile, I'm definitely gonna have to say who got the best live action Batmobile in my opinion. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think. The current guy playing Batman, I gotta think of his name, but his name just escapes me. Robert Pattinson's Batman. I like his Batmobile. If you had to go live action Batmobiles, I think he is the best one in live action. That's just my opinion. Because Christian Bale's was a big, huge tank. It really wasn't a Batmobile. And then if you go back and look at the 90s, those are legendary. But I would have to go Robert Pattinson's Batmobile if I had to go with one. And then, of course, you can always go back to like the 60s or the 70s when you had, who was it, 19. Batman. I gotta look this up. Give me a second because everything's kind of escaping me. Back when you had Adam West's Batman, he had the Batmobile. His Batmobile was cool. Was good for that time period. But I would definitely take Christian. His Batman vehicle looks nice. I actually like it as an old school car. But I would definitely take Robert Pattinson's Batmobile right now. But to hear that the old regime didn't want Ben to direct and play doesn't make sense. I'm pretty sure he had a great script. I think he would have did a great job. A lot of people talk about how him and who was it? Is it Deadshot? It wasn't Deadshot. Who is Batman I used to go up against that everybody keeps talking about? They said it was in the video games. I can't think of what his name was though. See, Batman versus. I can't think of who the character was, but there was somebody everybody wanted to see Batman go up against. But of course, we never got it. I just still don't understand how they messed up this whole DCEU thing. Like that's the thing that's always going to be sticking out to me is when you look back at the DCEU, what they had at the time was great, right? But how in the world did they mess this up? You had some of the best actors playing some of the greatest heroes, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, we got to hit the reset button now because they had no idea what they wanted to do, and it just makes no sense. It makes no sense. That's the biggest thing to me. I'm always gonna look back at this and just be like, how in the world did the old regime mess this up? You had some of the best heroes, and y'all just messed this up for 10 years. Like I think this year is the 10th year of the DCEU, and as deep into the DCEU storyline this should be in, it's not. It's like they still trying to figure their way out 10 years later. Like I said, Marvel gave you out a blueprint. I don't know how y'all messed this up, but Marvel also gave you out a blueprint, and y'all still can't seem to get it right. Well, anyway, man, I got some stuff I got to take care of. I'm going to go ahead and end this stream right now. I appreciate everybody that could drop by. I've actually had a lot of fun with this one. Definitely look out for my future live streams. Definitely look out for my future videos. I'm working my way up the ladder, trying to get to 4,000 watch time hours by the end of this year. So I'll definitely check you out in my next live stream, whenever that is. Peace. I'm out. And to anybody getting the Harry Potter game, enjoy it. Have fun. Do not let the haters in y'all live streams kick y'all off, man, because they can't physically do nothing to y'all. They just talking crap. Keep playing the game. Enjoy it. I'll check you in my next live stream. Peace out.